3D Treats, thank you for joining us. Today we are raising money for the American Cancer Society as well as our gift goal of 2,000 Tiny Dinies gets donated strictly to Fort Safe for Good through Lord of the Unfinished Paints or Unfinished Projects for us to uh, help with his cause. So the cause we're raising money for is, of course, the uh, Fort Safe for Good that we've been doing the past few days. Now, with Fort Safe for Good, how it works, I'm just getting my palette ready for what we're going to do, is simple. For every single donation made that is $10, you can enter a miniature painting competition. This donation goes straight to PanCan, the Pancreatic Cancer Association of North America. And with that, I appreciate the Tiny Diny. Thank you. With that, what ends up happening is we entered, there's two different criteria you can do. You can do a single miniature or multiple single miniatures, or you can do a diorama, which is 3 or more miniatures together, or multiple dioramas. Now, what we're doing is this model right here. So we got this figure that's going to be glued down on this base down this area. We got this figure that we kit bashed and converted into being on his knees instead of standing up. And then we have the dragon here. Now, the dragon's representing cancer. I'm going to be completely blunt with that. How terrifying it is, how unpredictable it can be, everything like that. And the goal is that the elf that is holding the swords represents the doctors, the medicine, the patients themselves. Pretty much everything that everyone that is fighting for cancer to be eliminated is what this one right here is representing. The next thing we're going to do is actually on the base already, and that's this figure right here. This figure is representing those that have passed from cancer. It's a memoriam to them. But we're going to finish this up right here because all we got is these little tiny bits right here. Bear with me, I got to let my cat out of the office. I'm sorry about that, Tiger. So, to donate for Fort Safe for Good, which is what I'm raising money for, you do got to go through Lord of the Unfinished Projects Linktree. I was fuzzy on the word. I was trying to remember what the name of that site is. Thank you for the Tiny Dinies. So you do have to go through his Linktree. Completely agree. Thank you. And I will explain why I'm doing this specific event. AK, thank you for the likes. So to donate and to be a part of the miniature painting competition, you got to go through Lord of the Unfinished Projects Linktree. He's got a whole video on it. He's actually tagged in multiple videos of mine, as well as he's on my followers list. So if you are wanting to check it out, that's the best way to do it. We also are raising money for the American Cancer Society. You can donate directly right there. That is separate from Fort Safe for Good. But I wanted to contribute something beyond just this miniature painting competition. Beyond that, what we are doing is the 2,000 Tiny Dinies. If I did my math correctly, that should equal up to about $100. All of that will be getting donated strictly to the Fort Safe for Good contribution to PanCan. And that is going to be in all of our names here at Scarecrow Community. Haley, thank you for joining us. So we're just finishing up this elf right here. For those familiar with D&D, it does look a lot like Dritz Doran. He is not officially Dritzed, but we are considering him Dritzed. Big Daddy Dragon, thank you for joining us. We do have a little bit of stuff we do gotta get on the table, get set up, everything like that. I gotta get my paint situated. All we got left on him is his eyes, and then we're gonna work on this figure right here. Well, glad you made it home safe, Dragon. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So, like I said, the 2,000 Tiny Dinies, if I did my math correctly, that would equate to about $100. We are going live on YouTube as well. My YouTube is not monetized. If it was, the entire live would be going to PanCan. Aldridge, thank you for joining us. I do apologize if that noise is loud for any of you. I'm just getting my paint situated. Monkey, thank you for joining us. We are raising money for PanCan and pretty much the American Cancer Society as well. The main goal is PanCan. That's what the gift goal is for. And Mama Scarecrow, thanks for joining us. Goth, thank you for joining us. We are raising money for cancer awareness and prevention today. The gift goal at the top, if I did my math correctly, that's $100. That should go directly. If we reach that goal today, we will donate that entire amount to PanCan, which is the Pancreatic Cancer Association of North America. Live, Leaf, Love, thank you for joining us. So we did do the purple in the eyes just to kind of give that effect that he is Dritz, because if any of you know Dritz lore, Dritz is canonically depicted with purple eyes. Trevor Summons, thank you for joining us. We are raising money for cancer on two fronts. We are raising money through the Fort Safe for Good charity, and we are raising money through donations directly to there. That 2,000 Tiny Dinies, like I said, if I did my math right, that would equate to $100 after everything is done, and that $100 will get donated directly to PanCan. If you want to donate to the American Cancer Society directly, you can donate right there through that little blip. Leaf, I appreciate that. You've always been a great supporter here, and we love having you around. So what I'm doing real quick is I'm just getting my dry palette ready. Trevor, thank you for the tiny dinies. I appreciate it. I did that too much. There we go. That's perfect. So what we're doing, Leaf, thank you for the tiny dinies. Wow. I don't know what to say. Trevor, I mean, it's the least I could do. My grandmother passed away of multiple cancers. As I've said in many lives before. Now, I do not know if pancreatic cancer was one of them, which is the main goal for the Fort Safe for Good. But in case it was, that's why we're doing it. 100 tiny dinies. I appreciate it, Leaf. You are phenomenal, buddy. So what I'm doing real quick is I'm just giving a glow effect to that lava. I realized the red I used was a little too dark for what I was going for. So we're going to intensify the red a little bit. And if any of you are miniature painters and you want to sit here and participate as well in the miniature painting competition, Lord of the Unfinished Products is the one hosting it. And you can find his page on any of my reposts of his. The last, I'd say 5-6 videos of mine, maybe even more, I've tagged him in every single one of them. And we're trying to make sure that we grow that as well, because his is donating directly to the Pancreatic Cancer Association of North America. Trevor, I appreciate the heart, buddy. I can hear my little one in the background throwing a fit right now over something. Knowing him, he probably got his tablet taken away. That looks a lot better already. Yeah, I like that. Mr. Shades, thank you for joining us. As you can see, we're raising money not only for PanCan through Fort Safe for Good, but we're also going to be allowing donations directly to the American Cancer Society. I appreciate that, Trevor. So now that I got that set up, I need, where are you at? Right here. We're going to start with this red. I got that busy, so I'll just do it here. So we're going to start off by highlighting. We're sketching out some areas we're going to definitely have the fire showing on this guy, because the idea of this guy is he's actually going to be on fire. We're going to create the fire through UV resin. Trevor, I appreciate the follow, man. Juliet, thank you for joining us. We're actually raising money for PanCan and for the American Society of Cancer. The gift goal up top is for PanCan, and then you can donate directly right there. The reason we're doing this is because we're a part of a miniature painting competition raising money for PanCan directly called Fort Safe for Good. All the information can be found in my page. But to do the gist of it, we are raising money for Pancreatic Cancer Association of North America. We are having a miniature painting competition, and there's two different options you can do. You can do a diorama, which is what we're doing, or you can do individual miniatures. We chose the diorama because we had some miniatures that we weren't really using. So we said, you know what? Let's just use those. Matthew Keller, thank you for joining us. Jody, thank you for joining. Lark Song, thank you for joining us. Lisa, thank you for joining. Mimi B, thank you for joining. John, thank you for joining us. We are raising money for cancer awareness through the American Cancer Society, but also through our gift goal. If we reach that gift goal, that will be donated directly to PanCan through the Fort Safe for Good charity. Okay, I need my yellow. Nervodine, thank you for joining us. Kevin, Lord of the Unfinished Projects, thank you for joining us. The gift goal up top, Lord, for those of you that are wanting to join the miniature painting competition, Lord of the Unfinished Projects, that just joined, LOT, that is who you want to have go through. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. And pretty much he's the one running the entire situation we have going on right now with Fort Safe for Good. He is the man with the plan. He's running the Fort Safe for Good. And I wanted to let him know that the Tiny Dinies up top are all going to be donated to Fort Safe for Good through his link in the name of our community if we reach that goal of 2,000 Tiny Dimes. Now, if I did the math right, that should equal out to be $100. Rickster, thank you for joining us. It's been a while. Okay. Now the fun part begins. So I'm actually going to use my big bottle. So we got him sketched out to show that he is on fire. Now our fire is going to be blowing. Let me pull him off. Our fire is going to be blowing in this direction. So let me get him glued in place. Make sure that that's the right direction. Yes. Let me get this little figure glued in place. Kyle Wainwright, thanks for joining us. Where did my super glue go? I swear I'm losing everything, people. Ninja Gaiden, thank you for joining us. Tanya, thank you for joining. I just gotta hold this figure down real quick. I appreciate that. Bear with me. So we're just going to make sure he's in place. So this is pretty much the whole figure. And actually, I'm going to brighten out that red a little bit that's on that dry brush. I'm going to pull out the dry brush palette again. So this is a dry brush palette I made. I had an extra base. I threw on some extra bits I had. We're just using that to knock off some of the excess paint. Michael, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. So I might go a little bit spread this red. Revving Roar, thank you for joining us. I want to thank everybody that has joined us so far as well. Cannot do this without support through followers like you. Ooh. That's not good. Did not know that my dry brush actually just broke in half. Right off there, huh? We got more. Maria Rodriguez, thank you for joining us. We are raising money for PanCan. It does a little bit, but it's a cheap paintbrush. So I kind of expected it to go out eventually, especially when we did a lot of dry brushing with the Dragon. That's more the red I was looking for. Melinda, thanks for joining us. Okay, now the fun part. UV resin time. So like usual, we're going to start by getting a toothpick. Just going to pour some UV resin on there. I'm going to harden that UV resin. That little droplet right here is going to be used to make sure that we can keep the miniature going. The 2,000 Tiny Dinies gold, that will be donated directly to Fort Safe for Good for their Pancreatic Cancer Association of North America. Charity that they are running currently. This next bit might be a little bit boring to a lot of you, just because all we're doing is placing down some of the UV resin onto the figure to harden so that we can get a good, clean, equal layer on it. We forgot one spot where we were going to paint, but I think it would look better this way as well. There we go. And when you look at it, all you're seeing is these yellow or all these little blue drops on it. But those blue drops are UV resin I'm hardening solely to build up from. I'll show you what I mean by build up from. So it's kind of hard to see, but we do got, I'm going to take it out of the way. We do got a little string there. That's what I mean by we're going to build it up. We're going to keep adding more UV resin until we got a nice, solid flame built up. Cam, thank you for joining our live. Ooh, that's too much. It would make it look more realistic anyway. Okay, let me do this real quick because I got fix right here by pulling that up, out. The Daily Pack, thank you for joining. But this is what we're shooting for, people. That little bit right there where it looks like fire coming off of it. Now our gift goal up there, 2,000 Tiny Dinies. I know that seems like a lot, and people are probably sitting there thinking, why is he asking for 2,000? It's a great question. I did the math, and if my math is correct, that would equate to $100, which would be donated directly to PanCan through Fort Safe for Good. Hey, you're fine. I don't expect everyone to hang around every day. I'm going to try to push that out the back. I'll probably go this way, actually. Let's go that way with it. Actually, just carry it out. Okay. That works for me. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to break apart this little bit right here. That's still a little liquidy to where I can make it pull inside this reservoir that I built up already. Yes, we're working on hand-pulled flames. We got a pretty nice one right there. The others are kind of giving us the runaround. Oh, don't even say that, Dragon. I've told you time and time again, if you're busy, I told you this morning, if you're busy, don't stay. So don't sit there and say I make you stay here. Now, I think the only one with a requirement would be Mama Scarecrow, actually. And even she's not here. I know you are. AJ, thank you for joining us. We are building the flames onto our figure. Or at least attempting to. We have a gift goal up top, 2,000 Tiny Dinies. You donate 2,000 Tiny Dinies, $100. And that's if I did my math correctly. Whatever it is, I know for a fact it's over $10, which is the minimum requirement to pull out with TikTok. With that amount of money, it'll be going directly to PanCan. Whatever that amount of money equates to. Kim, thank you for joining us. This one I might actually trim out because it's not wanting to do what I'm wanting it to do. Where are my clippers? Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. It just took the whole thing off. So that means that it wasn't primed well there. Gotcha. Okay, I can fix that. Can. Try a different toothpick on that one. Yeah, we're also got a donation for just basic Cancer America, American Cancer Society up there. This figure that we're doing right now is for Fort Safe for Goods miniature painting competition. Kipper Colesman, thank you for joining us. It's a little bit better. Still not where I would like that, but it's going to be good enough. The one thing I'm worried about is the transparency of that. I want to make sure that that's very yellow at the bottom there. Nate, thank you for joining us. There we go, otherwise we can see it all together. And of course, that fire is going to be painted once it is fully cured. Ari, thank you for joining us. I see the issue. We're going to have to give that a little break real quick. I have to charge it up for a little bit. Because that's not as bright as it should be. We should have its box around here somewhere. No, I did not do it. There it is. Okay. Bear with me for 1 second, everyone. I just gotta plug this in. Grimdark Studio, thank you for joining us. We are raising money for PanCan, like usual. 200 or 2,000 Tiny Dinies is going directly to. Bear with me for 1 second here. Go. The 2,000 Tiny Dinies is going to be directly related to PanCan. This is what we got so far. I'm really liking how that back's looking. We're going to start painting him once I feel around, make sure that's all dry. Nope, not dry. That's why that wasn't drying. The 2,000 Tiny Dinies, like I said, it's going to go to PanCan. It's going to go directly through Lord of the Unfinished Projects charity for Save for Good. And then we are going to do, of course, donations from the American Cancer Society with the Tiny Dinies. What's happening there is once we reach 2,000 Tiny Dinies, I pull the money out. If I did the math correctly, it should be $100. And that all gets donated to Fort Safe for Good's cause for PanCan. And let's show off how this is looking so far. That is how far we've gotten so far with this project. We still got a lot of fire. We're going to build off of this guy right here. We just got to wait for that to finish charging. And it is a fast charging one, so we should be able to get to that soon. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to dry brush this sword here. Now, for those of you that might be wondering what I'm using, I am just using a dry brush palette that I made myself. We're just going to dry brush a little object source slide coming off of that pool. Like so. And then we're going to do the same. I just got to figure out where it lines up. On the dragon. So right under here to right here. All right, there's going to be the strongest point. So all the way around there. Okay. So I got a good idea of where I need to dry brush this. Carnifer, thank you for joining the live. I appreciate it, buddy. So what we just did is we did a dry brush around the bottom there. Because now when we have this on here, you can see the glow effect on the scales. Okay. I appreciate that, Carnifer. We're almost done. We started working on the... I'm going to have to find a way to glue that down more because I don't like how flimsy that is. We're starting to work on building the fires on this guy right here. Let me try doing this one way. Lila Sanchez, thank you for joining. Thank you, Dragon. I appreciate that. For those just joining the live, the 2,000 Tiny Dinies does have a reason. I know I usually don't do gift goals that high. If I did my math correctly, that should equal to $100. If we reach that gift goal, that entire fund will go directly to Fort Safe for Good for PanCan. Small T, thank you for joining and thank you for the likes. Yeah, we have the object source slide coming off the sword. We have it coming off the dragon. So we're definitely giving life to this diorama here. We are going to start, you know what, yeah, we're going to do the object source light on the mouth. Where's my money robes? I'm not sure if I should take that in a good way or a bad way, Samal. If it's a good way, I appreciate it. How this is, what this is for is it's for pancreatic cancer awareness. It's a charity event that a friend of mine is running. I appreciate that. And what we're doing is this is our diorama piece for the competition. And everything has symbolism in here. This isn't just I can look at that and say to myself, this is a dragon who's attacked somebody and somebody's fighting the dragon. This has more depth than that. The dragon itself, once I can get it back on there, is representing cancer. How terrifying it is, how destructive it is, how without remorse it attacks. The elf down here that looks like Dritz de Werden, and yes, that was intentional. He is the patient with cancer. He is the doctor. He is the nurse. He is the medicine itself. He is the friends and family of that person with cancer, fighting the cancer alongside with the patient. And the figure that is already attacked is, of course, the person that, or the people who have passed from cancer already. Samal, give me a follow, and you'll actually see an update on the lit or on the channel. Every time that I upload, thank you. Every time that I upload or every time I do a live, I also upload directly to the channel, and I upload to the YouTube the exact same video. This way, if you're following me here, but you missed the last 3 lives, you can at least go to the YouTube, check me out there, or you can just open it up and see what we did. And our YouTube should be in our bio. I do know our Patreon is in our bio, which brings me to the next thing. Our Patreon. Regardless of tier, whatever tier you guys do a monthly subscription of, we will donate 50% of your monthly subscription to Forge Safe for Good. So you get the $30 tier. You're going to get everything with the $30 tier. And then you're going to also get a donation in your name to Forge Safe for Good. Captain Samuel, thanks for joining us. We're just showing off what we're working on for Forge Safe for Good. I'm doing good. Just waiting for my UV light to finish charging so I can finish working on the custom fire we got going on over here. You meant hay. Gotta love being dyslexic sometimes. For those joining, very top, that gift, 2,000 Tiny Dinies. You donate 2,000. You donate Tiny Dinies. If we reach that 2,000 goal today, that all gets donated directly to Forge Safe for Good as well, in the name of the Scarecrow miniature painting community. We also have a little link right about this area where you can donate directly to the American Cancer Society yourself. Our Etsy shop. And I'm only mentioning this stuff now because of the fact that we are waiting for that to charge. Our Etsy shop. What we're doing there is 50% off any commission. You want a commission, you go to my Etsy shop, you hit me up through there. You're going to get 50%, or not 50% off, 50% donation. So let's say that you ask me to do for $10 per miniature, you ask me to do 10 miniatures. That's $100. $50 is going to be donated in your name. Outside of Etsy, things are going to work a little bit differently. They are going to be working at 25% cost after profit. The reason being is because that's a little bit more media output I have to put out for that, whereas Etsy, I have it constantly being updated. Let me see how charged this is, because this is a fast charging one. Yeah, that should work. Oh, yeah, that's a lot better. Craft Pumpkins, thank you for joining us. Roslyn, thank you for joining. Kate, thank you for joining for liking the live, and thank you for joining the live. Duck, thank you for joining the live. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's working a lot better. Okay. Eesh. Don't like when that happens. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a new. So this is what we got so far. Let me get out of the way to show everyone. It's starting to form pretty well. There's some spots where I'm like, eh. Like right here, I can pull this up. Ooh, that's actually a good idea. I can do that with this. Turn it on. Pull it up. Captain Samuel, thank you for the tiny dinings. I appreciate it. I know that looks like a heaping pile of mess right now, but once we start getting deeper into how the figure's going to look, it's all going to make sense. Fairy Tellane, thank you for joining. Okay, I need a new toothpick. Okay, so now I need to do this. Do apologize if I'm not as active right now. I'm trying to get this just right. There we go. That's what I want. Come on. Let go. Let go. There we go. Oh, yeah, that looks good. So this is what we got going on. All that UV resin, that's all going to be colored in, and that's all fire. Sean and Curdy, thank you for joining us. Harley the Stranger, thank you for joining us. And with that, I think it is good enough to be painted. I just need to make sure that it's fully dry. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently than what I did with the other flame. I'm going to dry brush this flame. It should still get the same effect. I'm just hoping that yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was hoping it would cover up that mistake when it pulled away all the paint off that one figure. Lord of the Unfinished Projects, thank you for joining. So I'm glad you joined. That gift goal up top, before you reach that gift goal, all of it's being donated to Fort Safe for Good. When I said I was going to support you, I meant it with everything that I could possibly do. Okay, Tool, thank you for joining us. My napkins fucking, they did. Bear with me for 1 second here, everyone. Okay. And finally, a dab of red. And this is the finished product. Nico, thank you for the joining. We're going to go back and we might add a little bit more flame on the back here. But so far, that is what we have. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know anything you guys would have done differently or do differently still. Let me know. Cam, I really want to hear from you. What are you thinking over there? Need LED lights for glow effect. So, oh wait, nope, we are not done. Scratch that. You said glow effect and it put another jostle in my memory what I was going to do right before I did the fire. Because I kept looking at my palette and I'm like, why do I got this off-white? It doesn't make sense. I didn't even grab an off-white. For those curious what I'm using real quick, it's just a dry palette that I created myself. Texture paints, bits I had lying around. We're going to take this off real quick. We're going to start a little bit of a glow effect around that mouth. Now, I don't have any, what's the word I'm looking for? Inks or anything like that. So we're going to do this a little bit of an old school way. We're going to do a glaze. But we're going to do a glazed dry brush. So it's going to be thinned down. Okay. So let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking about redoing this fin in all red. Just to keep appearances. So it is similar to a classic Red Dragon. This is a WizKids. I'm not done still. I still got to do the claw highlights. I am losing it today. Arctic Sonata, thank you for joining. It is a classic red dragon in the sense that it is a WizKids model, and you can't really differentiate from those too much. They tend to not work as well when you do that. But pretty much what we're doing is we took, I'll show the whole thing off here in a second. We took a Nosler Young Red Dragon. If I can get it set properly. We took the Plagued Elf from the Green Wormling. And then we took the Frameworks Elven Ranger and put it all on one diorama. I appreciate it. This is actually for charity. We are raising money for PanCan through Lord of the Unfinished Projects. What was I going to say? Lord of the Unfinished Projects charity event called Fort Safe for Good. And it's a $10 donation per miniature or per diorama. And pretty much what I'm doing is I'm doing this piece. And this piece is representing Cancer as a whole. So the dragon is Cancer. We got it. I mean, I've had family that has passed from cancer, so this is very near and dear to my heart. But we have the dragon that's representing cancer itself, being terrifying. Hey, BD, thank you for joining. So we are almost finished. We have a little bit left to do. The claws, for one, I want to double check some things on those. Of course, besides this foot back here, I don't know if you can see it that well, but we dry brushed some red onto there for the overview. I'm debating on if I want to redo the fin because the alternating color scheme kind of does throw it off. I mean, it looks cool whenever you're spinning it, but it doesn't really look, in my opinion, it doesn't look too good when it's not spinning. So I'm going to probably just do it all in red. But pretty much the goal we were looking for was the dragons representing Cancer, how terrifying it is, how destructive it is, how without remorse it is. The plague effect afflicted elf down here is representing those that have passed from cancer. And then the elf right here is representing the fighters, or those that are fighting cancer, those that are afflicted with it themselves, the doctors, the nurses, the medicine, the family and friends of the patients fighting the cancer off. So, I mean, we're pretty much pulling not only the scene together, but we're also pulling in the theme of what we are raising money for is. Up there, our gift goal, the 2,000 Tiny Dinies. If we reach 2,000 Tiny Dinies, that will all be donated to that's all going to be donated strictly to PanCan through Fort Safe for Good. Unseen Print, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. I'm just highlighting these claws real quick in a light gray. Horns up here, we're going to highlight a little bit. And like I said, I've had family that's passed from cancer. That's why we started this whole thing. Or why we joined, I should say. And I remember what it was like, even though it's been 20 years. For those that don't know, you have a good one, BD. You can keep us on while you're driving home. Just do not text and drive. If I see you respond before you say I'm home, I am going to throw a fit. For those that don't know, in the American healthcare system, if you are under the age of 12, you are not allowed to see a terminally ill family member. I was 11 when my grandmother passed. And she was terminally ill. The last time that I was 11 or 12 when she passed, but I was 11 whenever I was last allowed in a room with her in it. And I wasn't even allowed to go in because I was too young. So I know how it is being that little kid whose parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, cousin is unable to see them, and you're sitting there angry for years as to asking yourself, why won't they let me see my family? They're sick, they're probably scared and alone, and you just get angry at not life, but specifically at the doctors and everything else that was trying to help your family. I know that's how I was. I literally cursed that hospital and refused to go to that hospital for years. Because I thought that they had not done enough for my grandmother just because they refused to let me see her. And I mean, your mindset's different when you're 12. You don't quite understand what's going on. 11, 12 years old, like I said. But as I grew older, I realized how the world works, why these rules are in place. And I resented the doctors less and less. Even though I still blamed them, thinking that they couldn't do nothing, the more I got older, the more I realized, okay, there really was nothing that they could have done for her with how far along her cancer was. But that didn't mean that I couldn't support causes that helped prevent it. so somebody else didn't have to go through that. That's pretty much what led us here. Here's the finished dragon. We are not fully finished though, because we still got to redo that red on the back of the neck. Where's my dry brush? Put it away. I did. And that's exactly what the gift goal up there, the 2,000 Tiny Dinies, is for. It's to help those that don't understand what's going on, helps them understand a little bit better. Eat, Sleep, Pain, thank you for joining. We're redoing some parts of the Red Dragon real quick, such as the alternating back fin. We're going to leave the color alterating between a light red and a dark red instead, to give the shadow and depth. 3D Mad Hatter, thank you for joining us. And then we are going to... been sitting here debating, do I give it a glossy look or do I give it a matte look? So I'm going to put it in your guys' hands. Do we make the dragon matte or glossy? Smile, thank you for joining us. Well, Dragon, if I knew which made me happy, I wouldn't have the dilemma. But that's actually why I'm asking, is because I'm sitting here on one and I'm like, okay, so a matte finish would look nice, but a glossy finish would make it shine. But then we got to worry about it overshining the fires. I might have a way. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go. I'm going to put him on the... I'm going to clean this because we're going to need that for... it. But I'm going to super glue this in now. I don't got satin. I got gloss. Well, yeah, I got gloss. I got matte. Okay, so now let's put you in there. Here we have it, everyone. Okay. So let me get out of the way so everyone can see it. Actually, it's not too glossy. Oh yeah, we need to do a little bit of a glaze. Yvette, thank you for joining us. At the top. Warhammer Kingpin, thank you for joining us. While I like that idea, I think that may overdo it just by a little bit. So what I just did was I also gave a little bit of a object source lighting on the blade itself. Matte finish, okay. Just looking it over, making sure I like every detail that's there. Yep, I think it is done. Mr. Gibbs, thank you for joining us. With that being said and done, we are going to call the live here tonight. We'll probably do the finish on after the fact. Yeah, I mean, I think we did a pretty stellar job on this. We are going to keep that live goal up for a while, even though we didn't reach it. Don't worry, none of the funds are going to be moved over to coins or anything like that. It's still going to be up for those that did donate. And this is where we are. I really like how this turned out. And I want to thank every one of you for joining us on this journey and helping us with this, as well as help supporting Fort Safe for Good. If you're interested in contributing more, we do have the Tiny Diny gift goal up there. 2,000 Tiny Dinies. All that goes straight to PanCan. If you want to do something more and do a separate donation, you can go right to Lord of the Unfinished Products page and do a separate donation yourself to either enter the miniature painting competition like we did, or just to paint your own mini, or just to donate for yourself. You can also go ahead and if you go on our Patreon, which is linked in our bio, and pick a tier, whatever tier you get, you choose, 50% is being donated in your name. And then our Etsy shop, 50% of all commissions ran through there are being donated as well. Our donations for outside of Etsy for commissions is 25% after materials. With that being said and done, we are going to call this live done. And okay, well, I mean, I'm glad you pulled over. You can actually see what we did. BD, this is the finished product. I appreciate that, BD. It took a lot of work, a lot of patience, and I honestly think this is actually now my best piece I've ever done. And for those of you that are watching, you can go through my videos. We stripped this dragon, so you can see what it looked like originally compared to now. There are some slight changes, like for instance, all these used to be yellow. The claws used to be yellow. The fin, I want to say I made yellow, but I don't even think I did the eye, the pupils in the eye. There wasn't this well of a transition from red to yellow like you see right here. It was all just there, and it was just the base that it came with. We didn't do nothing like this before, and we went above and beyond on this. Store-bought modem. I'm not sure what that is, or model. Store-bought model. Okay. Yeah, and that was the goal, was to make it look as realistic and as lifelike as I could, while still telling the story. For those that didn't hear what everything is about, the dragon represents cancer. How destructive it is, how deadly it is, how unforgiving, unremorseful, how terrifying it is. The knight down here, the Elven Ranger, represents the doctors, the patients that are going through cancer, the nurses, the medicine, the family and friends of the patients. And then the figure down here that's on fire is representing a memoriam to those we have lost, that we couldn't save, but also a remembrance that with what we're doing, we have a chance to stop it. And with that being said and done, this is our piece for Fort Safe for Goods miniature painting competition. We, like I said, we are going to keep that gift goal going up until October 12th. If we can get that 2,000 Tiny Dinies before then, we are going to donate that entirely into PanCan through Fort Safe for Good. Check out our Etsy store. Check out our Fiverr, our Patreon, and our Facebook, our YouTube, our Instagram, all the links. If you go to our YouTube, which should be in our bio, and subscribe to us there, that will all be in there. And like I said, this is just for a miniature painting competition that's being done online. With how well this looks, this may actually end up being our 2,000 follower giveaway. Maybe 3,000, maybe 4,000. I don't know. This is staying with me to my knowledge. If I have to mail it in, I'll mail it in. But yeah, I mean, this is a piece of work that I am really proud of. And with that, I hope everybody has a great day. Bye-bye.
All right, who's playing what today? Canadian.
So I did do it right. Okay. Hello everyone, Steven from Scarecrow Miniature Painting here. I'm wanting to show off our final